What is up, everybody? My name is Hyken, and this is the Kemove 61 Snowfox. The Kemove 61 is a 60% mechanical keyboard coming in roughly the $80 to $100 range. I got mine for $85, but the price for the same option that I got has since gone up to about $94, so just keep an eye on the price here. There will be a link to the Amazon listing down in the description below. The keyboard comes in black, white, and these very strange cow and ghost themes. They are definitely not my thing, but if they're your thing, then by all means go for it. Switch options here are the basic black, red, brown, and blue, but we also get a little more variety here with silver switches and yellow switches added in. I got the yellow switches myself, and all of these switches are Gateron switches regardless of what you get, and they are Gateron mechanical switches, not Gateron optical switches. This keyboard also has Bluetooth for up to 3 different devices. This keyboard's also hot swappable, so you can put in any Gateron, Kale, Cherry switch you like. It's 5-pin, so 5-pin switches or 3-pin switches will work just fine in here. In the box, you get the keyboard, a detachable braided USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, a separate keycap puller and switch puller, 3 individual sample switches, and a manual. You also get a dust cover in the box. Packaging here is also pretty cool. I have an unboxing video on my channel. I'll link it down in the description if you want to check that out. The Type-A end on this USB cable is also super cool. It's one of those ones that'll go in no matter which way you have the cable flipped. Very cool feature to see here. I also love the wire keycap puller and the plastic handled switch puller. These are much nicer than the horseshoe shaped ones that you usually get. Those ones always seem to damage my keys or switches, so it's really nice to see these instead. Speaking of pulling keycaps and switches, let's go ahead and talk about these keycaps. They're double shot shine through PBT, and they are very, very good quality. I seriously have never been this impressed with a set of stock keycaps on a keyboard before. They don't have that deep thock that you get from a thicker PBT keycap, but they do have a really great texture to them. They don't show finger oil, and if you take a look at the O and the Q, for instance, they are one whole piece. A lot of cheaper shine-through sets, like the one that I have up on screen for you right now, has separate pieces for the O and Q because it's cheaper to print that way. But not these ones. They went through, they put the extra effort and money into these keycaps, and it really shows. We also have secondary functions printed on the side of the keycaps instead of on the top. This means that there's less clutter on the top and there is less finger oil contact with that printing, which means that the printing is going to last forever. The modifier keys like Enter and Shift also look really good on this keyboard. Again, on cheaper sets, you'll see them kind of cheapen out on these keys a little bit and they just don't look as good, but they look pretty good here. All that being said, these keycaps are standard, so swapping them out with any other keycap set should be a breeze. Now, these switches are also quite excellent. I got Gateron Yellow switches on my keyboard, and I am a huge fan of them. They're a linear switch with an activation force of 50 grams and a bottom out force of 60 grams, which places them in terms of force between red switches and black switches. They also still have the standard 2mm actuation point and the 4mm travel distance. I love red switches for gaming, but I don't like them for typing. I love black switches for typing, but I don't like them for gaming. And I think that these yellow switches are a really, really good middle ground so that you can do both. These yellow switches have a nice intentionality behind each action, yet they're still fast enough to where they're not going to slow you down. These also aren't super scratchy out of the box. There is a little bit of scratch to them, but they're an unlubed linear switch, so of course there's going to be a little bit of scratch to them. However, I still found that they were pleasant to use. The stabilizers are also pretty good for out-of-the-box unmodified stabilizers. They do come factory lubed, but there is still a bit of rattle and extra noise to them. Alright, enough talking. I know you want the sound test, so here it is. I really think these stabilizers are fine the way they are if you do end up getting a clicky switch or a tactile switch, but if you want a linear switch and you really want the best experience, definitely look into modifying these stabilizers. It's a fairly easy process, anybody can do it, and it really does improve the feel and sound of your keyboard. The RGB lighting on this keyboard looks really, really good. The white backplate and the white keycaps are a really great combination to get a lot of reflection of this light back and make it look even more vibrant. Right now, I'll take you through all of the lighting effects on the board itself. And while this is playing, I'll go ahead and point out some of the secondary functions on the keys. You have pausing, skipping, volume control, and then arrow keys also by holding down FN and using the question mark, Alt, menu, and control keys on the right as the arrow keys. These things are all fairly standard on boards nowadays. I just wanted to point them out. The software here is alright. You can change lighting effects, change bindings, set macros, pretty standard stuff. I'm not really blown away by the software, but you know, it works. This keyboard also has Bluetooth. I never really use Bluetooth on keyboards. It works just fine for general desktop browsing, but I really wouldn't suggest it for gaming. There's just too much input delay. Plug your keyboard in if you're gonna game. Again, this keyboard can handle up to 3 Bluetooth devices, and there's just a switch on the back to turn it on and off. There's also a switch on the back to switch between Windows and Mac mode. I am seriously so impressed with this keyboard. For about $90 to $100 of value, I think you're really getting your money's worth for this. The switches, the keycaps, the build quality, the lighting, it's all really, really good on this keyboard. The only thing that I really complained about was the stabilizers, and these are honestly about as good as it gets on a mass-produced keyboard like this one. If you're in the market for a new 60% keyboard, or you just want to have something good that's hot swappable that you could try out different switches in, then this is definitely one that needs to be on your list. I'm definitely going to be modding this keyboard a little bit. I'm going to lube the switches, mod the stabilizers, and I'm going to get some new keycaps on there. I have a GMK Samurai set that is in the mail on the way right now. That's going on here, and it's going to look sick, so make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any updates on this keyboard. And if you could drop a like rating on this video as well, I would really appreciate that. The algorithm would appreciate it as well, and if you have anything you want to drop down in the comment section below, could just be hi, how's it going, whatever, that helps the algorithm out as well and really helps me out too. And again, there is a link to the Amazon listing down in the description below. It is an affiliate link, so it'll send a small commission my way at no extra charge to you. Help me buy more keyboards like this one and keep the channel running. Alright everybody, that's going to go ahead and do it for me today. Thank you very much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. Please remember to hit that like button and that sub button on your way out, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.